Very quiet.
Morning, everyone.
I
Good
think
morning.
we're in shot at what we can see, Lol.
Morning, Grace.
Good morning. Good morning. How are everybody?
Morning.
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 Morning. Morning.
I didn't realise there were sanity clause where you were, lol.
There ain't no sanity clause.
Got my mascot today.
Morning, everyone.
What is it? A dwarf, a gnome, an elf? A miniature Father Christmas?
Mr. Father Christmas.
Is he playing on Thursday, Keith?
Let's hope it brings. Let's hope it brings us about 15 points in next 5 games.
We'd need 15 players on the field.
Yeah, true. Yeah,
Hopeless. Completely hopeless.
yeah, they're just not good enough.
Completely gone.
Tell me about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm glad they've not got crowds at Bramall Lane because they'd be soon on that goalkeeper's back.
Yeah.
Wow, is he bad?
Good morning, Dave. Ian, you got a big one. Have you traded your 2 dogs in for that?
Drives the dogs mad. Look. Morning.
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 Morning. You need ends. Oh, look at that. Thank you, Max Bygraves, down at the bottom.
Needs lockdown.
Got something to show you.
You need hands.
Yeah, they don't make songs like that anymore, do they?
Thank God.
We didn't know how lucky we were to have Max Bygraves in them days. Look at us now, bereft.
I tell you what, John, you might
Yeah?
be able to sing, but I bet you can't make your ears go like that.
What's he doing?
This is very true.
You know. You know what
What's
John
going
can
on?
do?
What is going on?
Can they play tuba?
Unbelievable.
Brilliant. Got more sense out of that square than we normally get.
I think we need locking up. Everybody else is locked down, but we're locked up. Well done,
It's a bit
Paul.
sad in our house.
It's a good job we're all adults.
Allegedly.
Our house is a very sad place to live.
Well, if my house is sad as that, I'm all right.
Well, you run out of biscuits?
I'm going to eat them if they stay still long enough.
Is that what you call self-isolation? Those 2.
Oh dear.
What did you say? Sorry, I missed that.
Is
Good
that
job.
your version of elf isolation?
Yeah, I wish I had missed it now.
Right. Shall we get cracking?
Yep.
Where's Colin?
Yeah, crackers.
Just doing something. That was all.
Colin's gone to get his reindeer. Here he is.
Yeah.
Well, just before we do get cracking, next week, you all need to be wearing your Christmas jumpers, hats, anything. So let's make a go of it. And we will have a special guest next week for
Ooh.
part of the time.
Ho, ho, ho.
By half time.
For part of the time,
Or for part of the time.
yes.
He's got to see all the other little children, John.
Ones
who haven't been naughty.
I'm also going to send out
An SOS.
a list of songs, Christmas songs, so we can.
You're asking for trouble, you know that.
Oh,
don't you?
no.
You're asking for
No.
trouble.
Don't do it, Keith.
Paul, bring your,
I've been practicing this morning.
Paul, bring
See you in
your
January,
phone.
Keith.
No, there will only be 4
I
songs.
suddenly decided I don't think I can make it next week.
Looks like it's just you and me, Keith.
Come on, there'll only be 4 songs on it. So
At least
Oh,
one of
do
you can
what?
sing.
there'll only be 4 songs on it, 3 verses per song. So they'll be on
Well,
it.
versus.
I've got the mince pies.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Mm.
Yeah, have you got some cream for that?
No,
um,
funny enough, I was speaking to the doctor yesterday.
Oh, yeah.
I thought you were walking a bit funny.
Yeah,
I've had a small eruption.
I've got cat lips.
send the songs out with the invite next week. I'll put an attachment, but I'll also put the songs at the bottom of the email so that you can choose whichever way. I suggest that if you can, print them off and then you've got them in front of you and you can sing the songs. You'll probably know most of the words anyway.
I can play the piano for you, Keith, and
It's
Paul
like-
plays. Is it
Tuba.
euphonium, Paul, or
Euphonium.
tuba?
I've forgotten.
It's like, you know,
I'll play the full.
all Christmas classics like, oh, now here, United sing, The Wednesday Ran Away and stuff like that.
I was there.
Yeah. Gripping.
Happy days. Happy days.
So
Do
we'll,
you hear the one that's going the rounds now? It says that if United and Wednesday played each other, they'd both lose. I thought it was very good.
Oh, dear.
They won't score.
No, we won't score.
VAR would win.
Mm. Yeah.
so we'll get cracking with John's news of the group.
News of the group.
News of the group.
Well, I put little John, or old John, in my sleigh on Sunday, and I took him to see Mick. We had a nice chat with Mick outside his house under an umbrella, just so that we didn't pollute his house. Quite right too. And then next door lives Richard the elf, who I knocked up in the nicest possible way. Yeah. So there were 4 of us enjoying Christmas outside the house in drizzle, and then we went on to visit Ed. Yeah, we weren't supposed to, and you can't get in the home, but I know where he lives. He's in a ground floor flat, so we went down the back and frightened him by staring in at the window, and we had a nice chat with Ed, who's missing us all.
So
But,
when does
he was
your
in good humour.
when does
So
your
that was a
case
good morning.
when does
Cold
your
and wet, but some nice people.
when does your case come before the court then, John?
So, which magistrate have you drawn?
Eh dear, I'm pleading Fifth Amendment now.
Trying to help you, John, because my wife's retired now, so.
Oh, well, maybe she should give me some legal advice. Yeah. This afternoon I'll be phoning Eric, Barry and Sue, that's Stuart's missus, but I had a word with Brian the Tie. Brian the Tie is missing us all and sends his best wishes. He was in good form. He were all right, Brian. He'd been out for a walk. He's seen less of his dancing ladies than he was, but he were in fine fettle. As were Colin and little Dave Evans as well. They were both all right. In fact, I couldn't get Colin's wife off the phone. Normally, she quickly hands the phone over to him, but I think she must have been on sherry. Yeah.
Allegedly.
Colin's all right, except for he had a slight stumble. It was a bit like a Grealish type stumble. There were nobody near him. He did manage to get this old lady booked. We were walking past him.
He didn't do it right.
What a
He should have been
plonker.
sent
What a
off.
plonker that man is, isn't he? Sorry.
Colin.
Yeah, no, Colin. Yeah, and Cheryl and Anita, they're a bit fed up, and as I've said before, the sooner we can get round to them and frighten them to death by peering through their window, Keith, the better.
Yeah.
So everybody's in reasonably fine fettle, just missing each other.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well done,
so
John.
Merry
Well done.
Christmas.
Yeah.
Be great,
Well
John.
done. Well done. Well done.
Thank you.
So, right. Now we'll move on to Lol's news of the group.
News of the group. News of the group. News of the
Any
group.
mistake there?
News of the week.
News of the week. News of the week.
Losing it.
Are you on the sherry, Keith?
Yeah.
Allegedly.
Allegedly, yes.
It did mean last week, folks. Went to bed after lunch last Tuesday, didn't get up till Friday. I've got another load of rubbish for you today.
Have you not been very well, lol?
I haven't read this yet. We'll start with Rugby Union anyway. Now, Rugby World Cup winner Steve Thompson and 7 other former players claim the sport has left them with permanent brain damage and are in the process of starting a claim against the game's authorities for negligence. Every member of the group has recently been diagnosed with the early signs of dementia, and they say repeated blows to the head are to blame. The 42-year-old Thompson played in every England match when they won the 2003 World Cup, but says, "I can't remember any of these games. It's frightening," and he even tends to forget his wife's name. Former Scotland.
We all
number
do that.
It's nothing to do with the knock on the head, that. I've been trying to forget mine.
The former Scotland number 8, 35-year-old Johnny Beattie, has said he's relieved to have retired last January without too many head knocks. Did you have any head knocks, Ian, when you played?
What do you think?
Obviously, but I
With the
don't.
jokes he with the jokes he comes out with, John. Yeah.
I don't share Steve Thompson's view. I'm with Matt Dawson. We knew what we were getting into.
Yes.
There were a lot of front row issues in my day, and that's going back to the 60s and 70s. You know, broken backs and what have you. If you play a sport, you need to go in with your eyes open, as it were, and take the knocks. You can't then hold authority to account because of the misfortunes you suffer. That's the rule of the jungle. Sorry.
I think in 2003,
I totally
they didn't
agree
know
with you,
what
Ian.
we know now, did they?
Sorry, John?
In 2003, around about the time of the World Cup, they didn't know what we know now about dementia and head injuries. I'm not saying they knew nothing, but they'd not got the knowledge that we have now.
I have a bet noir that society, particularly with respect to the younger generation, are too quick to judge yesteryear by today's standards.
Exactly.
And
Exactly.
it's wrong.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very true. Very, very true.
Right, carry
Well,
on.
that's ruined the meeting, hasn't it?
Right down with it.
Brought it to a conclusion.
Did you see that guy
Turn the
who
hose on
refused
them,
to
Chris.
apologise?
Turn the
Oh,
He
hose on.
refused to apologise because it inherited a fortune that had been made 400 years ago by slavery. And he said, "Why should I apologise? I did nothing wrong." And I totally agree with him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're straying into politics, aren't we? I'm sorry. But
History's yes, we'll change the subject.
Yeah, we'll go back to Rugby Union. And
You start.
Nigel Owens, the referee with the most appearances in international matches, has brought an end to his Test career. The Welshman took charge of his 100th international last month when France played Italy in the Autumn Nations Cup, and has since announced that game was to be his last. The 49-year-old's first international was Portugal's meeting with Georgia in 2003. One of my favourite referees, that guy.
Yeah, Facebook are doing a lot of reruns of the clips they've done. You know, the sort of thing. I don't think we've met, but I'm the referee. See, I don't need any refereeing from you because I'm the referee on this pitch. This is not soccer.
Great.
Now we're going to nip on to cricket.
Is he the one who had the classic line about the straight line, the crooked line out?
It
Ian?
was Tonga.
Yeah.
Tonga throwing in the line.
I'm straighter than this line out.
So hard hands, and he said, "My God, I'm straighter than that." Lovely one, Ron.
Nip on to cricket.
Great referee though.
Yes.
Very good referee. Yeah.
It's round one.
England have confirmed their postponed 2 Test series matches against Sri Lanka has now been rearranged for January. The tour was due to take place last March, but was cut short during the warm-up games because of the pandemic. Joe Root's side will leave England on the 2nd of January, and on arrival in Sri Lanka, the tourists will be subject to a period of quarantine in Hambantota before playing 2 tests in Galle, starting on the 14th and the 22nd of January.
2 tests where?
Galle, or Galle.
It was the place that it was quarantine that got me most worried. Try that one again, no?
Hang on.
Is it
I've
Asterisk?
practiced.
Will
Asterisk.
anybody get blooded in goal?
Hambantota.
That's the one. Yeah,
Hambantota. You know it?
yeah, ever so well.
Have you run
It's a
it?
dance, isn't it?
Put cream on it, John.
Very nice, lass.
Well,
After
if,
that,
if
England will
Tango-
then go on. Go on.
I was going to say a 2-week quarantine. They'll be too pissed to
Yeah.
to play cricket.
So they'll be blooded in goal. Yeah.
Nice one.
I got it first time, John.
Yeah. But I like to repeat them. I don't often get them right.
After that, England will go on to tour India and play their first night test in the country at the biggest cricket ground in the world. Now, does anybody know where the biggest cricket ground is and how many it holds?
India.
It is in India, yeah, but
Mumbai.
narrow it down a bit.
Mumbai.
No,
Oh, my neck. Oh, leaks have gone off down there.
Oh,
Delhi.
no,
Calcutta. Or Kolkata, as you call it.
Kolkata, yeah.
I hope you get it because I can't pronounce it. Anyway, I'll carry on with it.
Chennai.
No, I don't think you'll get it. If you, the sides will play 4 tests starting on the 5th of Feb, with the third being under lights at Ahmedabad. And that's where it's 110,000
Oh,
capacity at the Sardar Patel
Ahmedabad,
Stadium.
yeah.
Oh, my bad.
And is it Ahmedabad?
Ahmedabad.
Ahmedabad.
It's
The
like
MC,
Ahmed Ashed, isn't it? Yeah.
Lol, what-
Yes, hello.
the attendance interests me because the MCG must be
Yes.
very near to that.
I thought the
Yeah.
MCG was the
I
biggest.
would have said the MCG automatically. That is people sitting down in a seat, by
Yeah.
the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's India. They'll be strapped at roof.
Anyway, I thought it was MCG. Yeah, fine. Yeah.
The Chennai will host the first 2 tests, and the final 2 will be at Ahmedabad. They
You
will
got
be
it then.
followed by 5 2020s in Ahmedabad, and then 3 ODIs in Pune.
Lol, you're showing off now, son.
It's just flowing off your tongue.
Where are the ODIs? Oh, Pune.
Pune, is it Pune? Pune? Pune?
Una.
You want a poo poo?
Was that-
Leave.
Did someone mention ODI then?
Yes.
All got excited.
I wasn't going to say a word.
I'm following it.
Good man. Don't rise to it, mate. Don't rise to it.
Oh, no.
If they win, will they get a silver spooner?
Or if they lose, they
What
get
are
a
you
wooden
on?
spooner.
Why are
You
you
gotta-
monkey?
Get a wooden spooner.
Good
It's
thinking.
not getting any better, folks.
Can we get out of India?
It's like being on a slow boat to China, this.
Don't sing
Right.
it.
No, we're not going to China. They've already played in India, John.
So we nip on to athletics. Now, the London Stadium will stage a midweek Diamond League athletics meeting next July after the 2021 provisional schedule was announced. The meeting will take place on Tuesday, 13th of July, 10 days before the start of the rescheduled Tokyo Olympics. The calendar consists of 14 meetings beginning in Rabat in May and ending in Zurich in September.
And in the Zurich.
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 Zurich. Zurich.
Well, I'm just
One of the
testing
most
you-
boring cities in the world, if you've ever been there, Zurich.
He's
Well, like my
breaking,
news.
he's breaking his teeth in for the dog.
The Gateshead International Stadium, which was due to host a meeting, has now been excluded. You think that's a bit of a north-south divide?
I don't know. I'm completely lost, lol. I don't know where we are.
Yeah.
I'm on a boat
I
at the
don't know
moment.
where Timbuktu, China,
The snooker.
Mamabababababad, or whatever.
Now we're going to, was it Ron mentioned break dancing last week? Was it Ron?
I did. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
in the Olympics.
Paul's
I've looked
taking up
into that.
I
breakdancing.
think with Paul.
I've looked
It's a
into that a little
quadrathlon.
bit. Breaking, a competitive form of break dancing, has been confirmed as part of the final lineup for the Paris 2024 Olympics. It will join surfing, skateboarding, and climbing, which will be
Surfing?
retained after making their debut
Surfing
at the
in
delayed
Paris?
Tokyo Games.
Surfing down the Seine.
No, on the
They're
internet.
holding it hundreds of miles away. I've forgotten where it is. But it's hundreds of miles away.
Bondi
Hawaii.
Beach.
Now, this is a surprise. However, Parker will not be part of the 2024 event after missing out. This street sport typically involves running, jumping, and climbing over obstacles.
Oh, yeah, parkour. Yeah.
Parker, I can think of one or two areas in Sheffield where they'd be good at that.
I
Be
thought, it's
chased by
called,
the coppers.
I thought it was called scrumping.
Nanjing will host the World Athletics Indoor Championships in 2023 after the 2021 event was postponed because of the ongoing COVID pandemic. The Chinese city has been scheduled to host the championships last March, but that was pushed back to early next year. And this was postponed again, and now we'll go ahead in 2023. So the next World Indoor Championships are in Belgrade in 2022. Bit on golf. Royal Liverpool and Royal Troon will host the Open Championships in 2023 and 24 respectively. These venues have both originally been scheduled to welcome the championship a year earlier, but the cancellation of this year's tournament at Royal St George's prompted a reshuffle. The Kent course will now host it next year, with St Andrews staging the 150th Open in 2022. On the weekend, Lee Westwood won a third Race to Dubai title 20 years after he won the first, to end the European Tour season. I think Sheffield have won the big money in that tournament.
Not Fitzpatrick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a blade. Yeah, na, na, na. Blade and he's a blade.
He's
Is
off
that why he didn't win?
He's off again.
Hey, he's a decent lad, him.
Apart from his one major fault.
Bit on cycling. Now, cycling's governing body has set out new rules which will come into force next year to identify concussion among riders. These include the training of non-health professionals, such as sporting directors, mechanics, and fellow riders, who are often the first on the scene of a crash. The measures come as the issue of brain injuries across the sport has been raised by cases in football and rugby. Bit on boxing. Now, Anthony Joshua, he beat Bulgarian opponent Kubrat Pulev in the ninth, knocking him out in the ninth round to retain his WBA, IBF and WBO heavyweight titles. Pulev was given 2 counts in round 3, but recovered to extend the fight to the ninth, when Joshua caught him with uppercuts to knock him down and a straight right hand to end the fight. 1,000 fans were at Wembley Arena to see the fight, and it was Joshua's first fight in the UK for over 2 years. Now, promoter Eddie Hearn is trying to get work on a fight between Joshua and Tyson Fury for an undisputed title. Any thoughts on that fight?
Yeah, boxing will be claiming head injury, won't they?
Think in time they might make them
He
boxing school.
dominated it, didn't he, Joshua?
Big Paul.
Big
He
Paul.
dominated it and then sort of went off the boil for a bit.
Big Paul.
Tyson Fury should be fighting Deontay Wilder next.
Yeah.
I've done a bit of reading up, and it sounds like Fury is ignoring the rematch clause with Wilder. With Wilder. Is Chris? I'm talking, not Deontay. That might have got a laugh, but there again. Yeah, so I, if I were Deontay Wilder, I'd be taking legal action, really.
Definitely. This is a contract.
It might pay him not to fight.
As I said, money. We all know sports governed by money now, so contracts don't seem to matter these days at all, do they? Don't seem
They might pay Deontay Wilder not to fight him.
Pardon?
They might pay Deontay Wilder not to fight him to allow the big money rematch to take place. So he might get paid for not fighting.
Yeah, you got.
Yes, Ian.
I'm not naive. I suppose you'll go where the money is, won't you?
Yeah.
Question for Big Paul. The pundits reckon if there was a Tyson Fury Joshua fight, Fury would be the favourite. Why is that?
I fancy him to be. I fancy him to win. I don't know what that is. Are you talking about the number of belts like held?
Well, no, I'm just, when I look at Tyson Fury, I see a very likeable giant with nomadic background, what have you, not a boxer. When I see Anthony Joshua, I see a young, lean, fit boxer.
Ooh, dear.
And I expect him to just...
He's only 2 years younger than Tyson Fury, though, Ian.
Sorry?
Yeah.
He's only 2 years younger. He's only 2 years younger than Tyson Fury.
Yeah, there's not much difference age-wise.
Look at their medical
Fury
records.
reckons he's going to knock him out in 3 rounds.
Look at their medical records. Look at their background.
So he says.
Their respective fitness. On paper, I would say Joshua had a very good chance of winning. If not, should be favourite. But the pundits, like you, are suggesting it's a foregone conclusion that Tyson Fury will murder him.
No, or suggesting that. I'm not suggesting that.
No, the pundits are. The papers, all the thing is on Tyson Fury. It's a one-way conversation.
Colin? Yes.
Yeah, I was reading this morning, I know it's online, so whether it's true or not, but apparently they did meet when Joshua was an amateur, and apparently he gave Fury a bit of a pasting for 3 rounds. He
wants revenge.
Mm-hmm.
There's another geezer set to fight Joshua, though, isn't there?
No, I think the way's clear, isn't it, for Joshua?
No, not that I'm aware of.
Somebody else.
John L. Sullivan's
Anybody else in
making
the
a comeback.
pipeline, Keith?
You are, sorry?
I don't think there's anybody else in the pipeline that I know of.
There is apparently there's somebody who's a step ahead of Fury in terms of contracts or whatever. I've seen it on the, well, it might be fake news, but I'm sure I've seen it on the internet where there's another guy whose name I can't remember or pronounce. But,
There is some confusion. There is some confusion over how many belts Joshua holds. You know, they talk about one day they talk about 4 belts, then they talk about 3 belts, and I think where the confusion arises is the WBA version. He holds the super heavyweight title. The heavyweight title of the WBA is held by a Syrian bloke called Char, who I've never heard of before. So, you know, some claiming when you see shots of him, he's got 3 on his shoulders and 1 round his waist, 4 belts.
Yeah, well, the commentators are saying he holds 4 belts, and that the fight is now on with Tyson to win the 5th. So that's the main thrust. But interesting point you raised, that they may not be in the same category. That's
no, the WBA heavyweight champion is this Syrian chap. Yeah. Joshua is the super heavyweight of the WBA version.
It might be that Syrian whose name.
Yes, Assad.
On we go along.
Are you with us, lol? Have you nodded off?
Yeah.
He's keeping it under his hat.
Carry on then. Yep. A little bit on Formula One. Now, Silverstone is to rename the International Pit Straight after world champion Lewis Hamilton. Hamilton Straight will be the first part of the circuit in Northamptonshire to be named after an individual. And at the weekend, leading from the start to finish, Max Verstappen won the final Grand Prix of the season in Abu Dhabi for his 2nd win of the year for Red Bull. Valtteri Bottas came 2nd, and a far from feeling well Lewis Hamilton came 3rd. I am destroyed. I do not feel good, but I'm happy and grateful I am alive. I live to fight another day, and I still managed to finish on a podium, said Hamilton after the race.
Don't go on, Lol. You're all right.
I don't think they should have erased.
No, absolutely.
Max Verstappen had a party afterwards.
Did he?
Well, a super spreader.
No, he had an Abu Dhabi do.
What is he on?
Where do you get him from?
He's going in the naughty corner.
Cold shower.
Maybe suspended for 10 minutes.
You're worse than Des O'Connor with his dibby-dibby-doo. What was his? John will know which song he sang.
He makes himself laugh, old Keith.
Well, I hadn't heard him before.
Who's that?
That
little bit on snooker. Now, Mark Selby retained the Scottish Open title with a commanding 9-3 victory over world champion Roddy O'Sullivan in Milton Keynes. The win gave him an 11th consecutive victory in rankings finals to equal Stephen Henry's record. The season has been fantastic, says the world number 4, Selby. But O'Sullivan, he just wasn't there, was he, at all? I don't think his mind was on it, from what I saw.
You're being stupid. Still wanted to play on with just black on table when he needed about 10 snookers.
Now, last topic is football. Do you want to have a few quiz questions, Keith, before we go on to football? Let's do football in the second half. Hey?
No, get going. We'll
get it over with.
All right, you say.
Pass me the hemlock, for God's sake. Give me some hemlock.
Oh, Lord. This is
now, the death
confessional.
was announced last week of former Sheffield United favourite Alex Sabella. Now, I've done a little tribute to him, 2 or 3 minutes, okay?
Yeah.
Now, Alex Sabella was born in Buenos Aires on the 5th of November 1954. He was born into a very wealthy upper-class family. Sabella was an excellent student and was admitted to the Faculty of Law at the University of Buenos Aires, but abandoned his studies for a career in football. Despite his wealthy background, as a young man, he worked hard to aid the urban poor in the slums of the city. Now, joining River Plate in the early 70s as an attacking midfielder, his slow pace soon earned him the nickname Lunfardo, which is Spanish for slow coach. Sheffield United manager Harry Haslam flew to Argentina, where he signed Sabella for £160,000 on the 19th of July 1978. So popular was Sabella that the man on passport control at the airport didn't want to let him board the flight for England. He played 76 league games for the Blades, scoring 8 goals. But when the team were relegated to the 3rd division in 1980, Harry Haslam agreed a deal to sell Sabella to Sunderland in Division 2 for £600,000. Refusing to go because he wanted to play in the 1st division, a deal was then struck with Leeds, who paid £400,000 for his services. He continued to live in his home in Waterthorpe after joining Leeds, with John Lukic, Leeds goalkeeper, picking him up for training and on match days. He couldn't settle playing for Leeds, and he started looking for clubs back in Argentina.
Tell you a little story about that afterwards.
Yeah. Right, carry on. He couldn't settle it playing for Leeds and started looking for clubs back in Argentina. After playing only 23 games and scoring twice for Leeds, he signed for Estudiantes de La Plata, where he had his greatest success. He scored 10 goals in 149 games, winning 2 back-to-back championships with them, and he played 8 times for his country, of which 4 were friendlies. He had short spells playing in Brazil and then Mexico before retiring in 1989. After retirement, he turned to coaching, but worked mainly as a field assistant to Daniel Passarella. The duo coached the Argentina national team, Italian side Parma, the Uruguay national team, Mexican side Monterrey, and Brazilian team Corinthians, before returning to River Plate in 2006. In March 2009, he became manager of Estudiantes de La Plata, but resigned 2 years later in February 2011. Later that year, in August, he was made manager of Argentina. The first thing he did was to make Lionel Messi the new captain. He got Argentina to the 2014 World Cup final, where they lost 1-0 to Germany after extra time, and again resigning on the 30th of July the same year. His other nicknames as a player were the Magician and Sloth. He was admitted to hospital in Buenos Aires 3 weeks ago after suffering fluid retention in his legs.
Stop there. Less than a minute, so continue on the break.
On about 10 seconds left on this.
So,
Go on then.
after the break. All right, see you in 5 minutes.